Hello and welcome to Jim's Retro Stuff. Today I want to take a look at some of the backlog of items that I've purchased on eBay and other sources. So let's jump right into it and see what I got. This package is from Thrift Books, and let's pop it open. This is Machine Language for Beginners. This is a 6502 machine language teaching book for Atari, VIC, Commodore, Apple, PET computers. It's by Richard Mansfield, and I had this book back when I was a teen and I was learning assembly language. It was a great help. It explains a lot of the instructions for the processor right here, and it gives you little examples of how to use things, how to do different functions in the processor. It even has some little artwork in there. This is a handy book as a kid, and I enjoy having it as part of my collection. I had it years ago, and I guess I got rid of it. I guess when I got rid of my Atari computer. It even has a simple assembler in it that you can type in for the various platforms. This is the Atari version, and there's other versions also. Here's some code here. This is the VIC Micromon. So there's a micro monitor for the VIC 20. It's also in this book. Compute had some really neat books back then for the various computers of the day. A lot of useful information. They were kind of like a powerhouse as far as information for a lot of these machines back then. So that's the first item. Next up, this wrapped up pretty good. We have Compute's third book of Atari. I also had this book back in the day, and I still have my copy, but it is very ragged at this point. So I did want to get another one. I had it stored in a non-climate controlled area, and it pretty much got ruined. So I'm glad to have this one back in the collection. There's a price in here. I don't remember if I paid that for it or not. Doesn't really matter. This has a lot of neat programs that were, I believe, featured in the magazine, Compute magazine, and then it would compile them into these books. Let's see if we can find the index to see what's available. Yeah, see, they have some programming hints. Then they have some sound programs, some applications of education, like a Castle Quest game. Computerized your diet. You have some graphics applications. This is like, I guess, to design character sets, and this is for circle drawing routines. And we have some utilities for like joystick and control, and a wedge. This, you can add commands to Atari BASIC. That's a pretty neat article. And we have some advanced techniques and some games in here. And they offer a 1200 XL memory map, and they have how to add machine language to your basic programs and a machine language sort, and then there's some other appendices and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty cool book. I'm glad to have it back in the collection. Well, a better copy in the collection. All right, next up, another book here. We have the Atari BASIC book. This book, when I originally got my 400 computer, this book was packaged with the computer, and I hadn't had it since then when I got rid of my Atari 400, and I just kind of wanted this for nostalgia's sake. It's basically teaching you basic programming for the Atari. So that's cool to have that in the collection. Next up, all this, and we're going to pull this out, and this is the Atari 1050 disk drive field service manual, and this is still sealed up, and I will go ahead and crack this open. It's neat that it's still sealed. I got this because I do have some drives that I eventually want to see if they're running, and I got this just in case there was an issue with them, and this will help with the diagnosis and possible repair, if needed, of the drives. I'm going to have to find a little binder to put this in. It's got the pages that are 3-hole punched. It's pretty neat. This is from 1983 Atari. This gives you the operation of the disk drive. It actually shows an 800 computer here. It shows the drive, and it gives you a lot of information about the serial bus pinout for the SIO connector, and just a lot of diagnosis and troubleshooting stuff. And even gives a schematic of the drive. It's a 4-page schematic of the drive. That's pretty cool. So this will be very useful if during the testing of the drives that there is an issue with them. So that's a cool addition to the collection also. And last but not least, we've got a bigger package here. Get this opened up. This one's like super wrapped up. Right, a couple books here. One is the A.N.A.L.O.G Compendium and the master memory map for the Atari 400 and 800 computers. This one was purchased originally from the Personal Computer Store for $19.95, it looks like. So let's go ahead and open this one up, take a look at it. This is similar, I believe, in nature to the compute books. So we have, a lot of program listings. And Analog Computing Magazine back in the day was one of my favorite magazines because they were very technically oriented. They would give you assembly language listings of programs, and I learned a lot of programming techniques from Analog Computing Magazine. So this has a lot of stuff in it. There's programming utilities, we got graphics, demos, and like graphics clipping routines, 3D graphics made easy. And this is from like 1983, so that would be pretty advanced for that time. Disk utilities, we got some home utilities, entertainment, we got some games in here. We got some stuff for if you play Dungeons and Dragons. There's a character generator and some housekeeping things for Dungeons and Dragons games, and that's pretty much it. And there's a checksum program, so like when you were typing these programs in, they would give you, you have to type all this stuff in. And so what would happen is you type this program in, use the checksum program, and put these statements in, and it would let you know where you had an error, and it would even tell you like what line you had the error in. So it was pretty useful, because typing a lot of this stuff in, there was definitely opportunity for mistakes to be made. So that was very helpful. So that's a cool addition. I never had that before. This came in this lot, and I saw it, and I was like very interested in it, because I don't think I've ever seen or heard about this. I feel like maybe back in the day it was maybe advertised in in one of the magazines as like something for sale, possibly. I don't know. Like I said, I've never seen this before. If anybody's familiar with this thing, let me know in the comments. But it has master memory map for the Atari 400 and 800, so it's from 1981. So it would have been way before the XL line of computers and the XEs. So this is by Santa Cruz Educational Software. It has lots of memory locations. So I guess this was for people who wanted to program. This would be early on. There were books like Day Ray Atari that Atari finally put out. But this would have been like a non-Atari version of this. It didn't come from Atari, but it's pretty cool. It has some little important memory locations, and later on this would be expanded upon in mapping the Atari. These are all locations that tell you where your display list is, and this and that, and your vertical blank interrupt vectors. It gives you where to get the information for your joysticks, like what value you get from pushing a stick. So this would be very useful for programming in machine language or BASIC. Player missile graphics. Atari had a very nice graphics system in it. It had sprites, which they called players, and missiles. So this gives you information on programming for those, and it's pretty neat because there's actually some hand noted. This has been photocopied or what have you, but it actually has some information that is handwritten in on there. It's pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. So that's a nice addition to the collection. And here's the final book. This is a book video today. This is the second book of machine language. So this is the companion book to the machine language for beginners. It basically expands upon what was taught in that book. Let's get this opened up and take a look at this thing. I had this back when I was a teenager also. Now this book is pretty cool. It has an actual LADS assembler. It's called the LADS assembler. And basically this book, it teaches you how to basically write this assembler. Like by the time you've finished went through the book, it will you'll have written this assembler, this LADS. And it'll run on the Commodore. It runs on Atari, and I don't know if it's Apple or not. There's a VIC-20. There's a machine language editor for Atari and Commodore. This is, there's the Atari LADS. So I guess it's Commodore and Atari. I guess they don't, I'm not sure if there was an Apple version available. But back when I was a teen, I actually did type this in, and I used the LADS assembler. But I had the Mac 65 cartridge, and that was way more advanced than this. But I did learn a lot from this, because this was very informative for the time. And it was pretty neat because you get this book, and back then it cost, is there a price on here? I don't see a price, but I feel like they were like maybe $15, which in 1983 or 84 would have been a decent amount. But when you were done, you actually would have an assembler you could use to create programs with. So that's like super cool. And to buy the Mac 65, I think at that time in the 80s, it was like $100 for that thing. And this book's like $15. And even if it wasn't as great, if that's what you could afford, or if that's what you had, then that's what you would use. This book's cool, and I am glad I have it back in the collection. So that's pretty much it for today. I just want to get through, like I said, some of my new acquisitions, and it's pretty Atari focused. These two books are not Atari focused, but pretty much everything else is, and it's really cool. So thanks for taking a look at these with me. At some point, maybe we'll go into depth on some of these a little closer. Maybe, like check them out more in depth. But for now, that's it. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.